Good morning and welcome. My name is Doug Roxburgh. I'm the inspector that oversees the Winnipeg Police Service Crime Stoppers program. Today, Crime Stoppers Board Chair, Mr. Rob McKenzie, is going to introduce our latest initiative that focuses on safe usage of our transit system. I'd also like to introduce the fact that at the end of this release, our PIO officers will be doing a separate release on a violent carjacking that we're asking the public for assistance in. In conjunction with today's release, you'll see a photo beside me here. This is in relation to our Eye on Crime post that we released today. The Eye on Crime post is published in the Winnipeg Sun. It's produced in our Winnipeg Police website, as well as the Crime Stoppers website. This individual is a suspect in a violent transit driver assault that occurred on October 11th at Main and James Avenue. And we're asking the public for assistance in identifying this individual, please. So before I call up Mr. Rob McKenzie, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Rob, as well as Vice Chair Paul Johnson, the rest of the Volunteer Crime Stoppers Board, on their 40th anniversary that is coming up next month. Over the 40 years, the WPS has been proud to work with the Crime Stoppers Board, and the results have been impressive, to say the least. The program prides itself on anonymity for the caller and has further evolved from a phone-based reporting model to a web-based platform, further protecting the identity of our callers. Considering years ago, the best advertising mechanism for Crime Stoppers was the Crime Stopper sticker in the public phone booth, to today's social media driven technology, we really have seen some fabulous improvements, not to mention, which is shown, in our record number of tips over the last couple of years. The public and the community are fully embracing this concept, and we thank them for that. So again, congratulations, Crime Stoppers. Rob, we look forward to another 40 years of keeping our city safe while protecting the identity of our callers. At this time, I'd like to call up President of the Winnipeg Crime Stoppers Board, Mr. Rob McKenzie, to come forward.
Good morning, everyone. Robert McKenzie, M-A-C-K-E-N-Z-I-E, Chairman of the Board, Winnipeg Crime Stoppers. Today, we'd like to announce a new initiative in partnership with Winnipeg Transit, Civil Forfeiture Property Crimes, Benchmark Advertising, and the Winnipeg Police. We're launching the It's Your Business campaign with an emphasis on bus, capital letters in the spelling of bus. And really, it's an initiative to do two things. One, to promote the Crime Stoppers program and make people aware that they have the opportunity to report crimes that are happening in our transit system anonymously via the Crime Stoppers program. The other thing we're trying to do is we're trying to foster a responsibility with the community. Winnipeg Transit sees an average of 171,000 riders a day. That's a lot of eyes and ears on the transit system. So what we're asking is very simple. If you see something, say something. Whether you report it directly to the Winnipeg Police or anonymously through Winnipeg Crime Stoppers, we can all work together and do our part to create a safer environment for our transit riders. Every transit rider deserves a safe journey, and we're hoping that this program will create that education and promote that awareness. So yesterday, we had 50 bus benches installed throughout the city of Winnipeg with the It's Your Business message. And hopefully those riders will see that message on those buses and carry that message onto those buses. And if they see criminal activity, we're encouraging them to come forward and report it. Thank you. I also like to just comment a little bit on our 40th anniversary. So Winnipeg Crime Stoppers was started 40 years ago in November 1984, initially as a Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce project. Since then, as Doug, Inspector Roxburgh noted, we've had significant advances in technology and social media and really being able to reach people in real time. These media releases are an example, and the streaming to Facebook is another example of reaching individuals. And we find that we're receiving tips almost instantly when going to press on situations such as the individual we're looking for in this transit assault. We've seen a significant increase in tips over the years. Last year, we had 4,009 tips from the citizens of Winnipeg. And as of October 23rd this year, we've already reached 4,059 tips. So we're again looking forward to another record year and seeing the positive results from that partnership between the Winnipeg Police, the community, and the media. So, thank you.
Morning, thank you. I'm Constable Spencer, Winnipeg Police Service, PIO, and I'll move on to our media release for this morning. On October 27th at approximately 9:15 p.m., the Winnipeg Police Service responded to the 500 block of William Avenue for the report of a carjacking in progress. Attending Central District General Patrol officers learned that a 34-year-old female victim was robbed of her vehicle as she was leaving church. The victim was approached by a female and two male suspects, one of whom was armed. They demanded her keys and forcefully removed her from her vehicle. They also stole her personal property before fleeing in her vehicle. The victim did not require medical treatment. The suspects are described as, number one, an Indigenous female, approximately 5'5" in height, skinny build, wearing a red hoodie with gray jacket over top and gray pants. She is also reported to have a small tattoo near her right eye. The second suspect is an Indigenous male, approximately 5'5" in height, with a skinny build, wearing a baseball cap and a gray hoodie. And suspect number three is an Indigenous male, approximately 5'6" in height, wearing a gray jacket or hoodie. The Major Crimes Unit has assumed this investigation, and no arrests have been made at this time. So I'll take some questions now.
You mentioned that one of the suspects was armed. Are you able to say what they were armed with? Are we talking knife or gun?
Well, yeah, good question. Since there hasn't been any arrest made in this instance, that would be information that just the suspect and the victim would know. So we're going to hold that back at this point.
What about the type of vehicle that was stolen? Can you tell us make or model, or even SUV, sedan, that type of thing?
Yeah, as I just said, like it's still pretty early on in the investigation, and as well just the fact that it was at a church, we wouldn't want to identify the victim that way by releasing the information for the vehicle.
There was another carjacking incident over the weekend after somewhere in downtown. This is completely different from that, right?
From what we know at this point,
Yeah.
there's nothing linking those two together. They're random.
And what about the details of that incident? Has the suspect been caught, or is it still under investigation?
From what I understand at this point, there has not been an arrest made, but again, the Major Crimes Unit has been assigned to that call, and they are working around the clock to identify that suspect.
And since that happened during broad daylight after the Comic-Con, do you think there should be more patrolling during events outside downtown or around RBC? Is it necessary with such kind of incidents happening?
Well, I can tell you that our officers are always in that area. We have our downtown general patrol plus our foot patrol out. So there's a constant presence downtown. There's having to balance that between the calls for service that come in, but we also have during events other officers that come separately that work these events to ensure that everybody's safe.
All of the suspects in this latest release are pretty small in stature, between 5'5" and 5'6". Is there any indication that this might be youth or teenagers involved in this?
Well, what I can tell you is that information is from the victim initially. So investigators are still working to determine the exact, I guess, description. Sometimes when somebody's in a situation like that, that's very traumatic, they might not give the exact, so investigators will go back and get more information, look at video, and determine if there's an update to that. So, yeah.
My questions would be more for Mr. McKenzie and regarding the Winnipeg Crime Stoppers transit safety company. It's possible to ask a question about that.
Sure, you know what, I just wanted to touch on just some general safety for downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, there's things that we can do when we're downtown or anywhere in Winnipeg to really help ourselves be more safe. And I'd like to just give a few tips. I think being aware of your surroundings, it's kind of an easy answer to that, but really a good example of that would be if you have a cell phone or headphones, you're not really going to see somebody approaching you if you have headphones on and you're looking down at your phone. Just be aware. If you see somebody suspicious, don't be afraid to call 911. And also, I think that we can be advocates for other citizens. If you see something, rather than pulling your phone out and trying to get that next TikTok hit, you can phone 911 and actually look at a description of somebody so that you can provide good information to police and help the person next to you. Yeah, and now that it's getting colder, hopefully we don't have snow too soon, but I think it's coming. I would suggest it's a good time to look at getting a remote car starter if you don't have one. I think sometimes with this weather, people tend to leave the keys in their vehicle running unattended, and that's another way for a crime of opportunity to be afforded to somebody.
And one quick thing about the machete attacks. There's been a couple of machete attacks over the last few weeks. What is the police doing to kind of control that?
Yeah, those numbers are concerning, and recently there has been quite a few. But overall, I could actually go over some stats. We're down 16.4% from last year with carjackings, as well as actually over the last 5 years, 22% down. So sometimes this is a good. I don't have the exact stats for the machetes, but for the carjackings, although it's very concerning and it seems like it's happening more often, but the numbers are down. I know in 2022 there was over 100 from January 1st to September, end of September, and this year there's 56. So that's a major reduction. So again, officers are working diligently, and I can't say enough about our major crimes unit, who's just with all these incidents that happen, they do an amazing job of tasking these incidents and solving these. And I'll turn it over to Rob if you want.
Yeah, I guess my question would be like, do we have regarding the annonces you're gonna put you've been putting on benches and stuff? Do we have today a sort of estimation of how many crimes have been occurring this year aboard transit services, like in transit buses and stuff?
I would have to
supporting that?
defer to Winnipeg Police for those statistics. From the Crime Stoppers perspective, I do know that the program has been extremely successful in assisting in solving a lot of those. As you saw earlier when we had the image up on the screen, the eye in crime, taking those images and putting those images out to the public and asking for their assistance in identifying them has been extremely successful. So I can speak to that specifically. But as for the actual statistics and transit incidences, I would have to defer to Winnipeg Police for that.
And is it hard for police forces to intervene in a bus when there's an incident occurring like that? Is it something?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Do the police have difficulties intervening into buses when there are some incidents occurring, or what can the transit systems do also to kind of defend themselves in some ways when there's
Like you're asking about the passengers?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, again, that would be a tricky question to answer, because if you don't have proper training and proper use of force training, and you don't know how to properly. Anytime you deprive somebody of their liberties, you're essentially effecting an arrest on somebody. So I would discourage anybody from getting involved unless they absolutely feel it necessary. What we're looking for out of this campaign is more of an observe and report approach.
And does that works often? Like, do we have a feeling that this approach is actually functioning for people?
It does, because I can tell you that statistically, the program has been, again, successful in solving a number of these transit-related incidences based on people being on the buses and having information about where, an individual gets on the bus, where they live, individual's name, and being able to provide additional descriptions of those individuals. So again, what we're asking is just keep your eyes and ears open and listen and observe and report. And again, the message on the bus is, if you see something, say something.
Are there some line buses more impacted than others? Like some?
I wouldn't have that information.
It's a transit
Mm.
question. Any additional questions for Mr. McKenzie?
One
Yeah,
more.
just, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Robert, can you just speak a little bit about what prompted this initiative? What was it that Crime Stoppers was seeing on Winnipeg transit buses that said, this is a place where we can focus the campaign?
I think as a board, what we do is we try to take a look at what's going on in the city and what the incidences are kind of occurring that are affecting it. And so the media plays a part in that, in reporting on kind of what those hot button issues are and what those topics are. So we've seen I don't want to say increase in transit violence, but there's been more reporting on crimes that are occurring on the transit system. So that was kind of something that we looked at. And we have a partnership with Benchmark Advertising in which they give us a charity rate. So it seemed that the timing was right for it, and that it was a good opportunity to enhance transit safety and promote transit safety with everything that's been going on recently. There was an incident, 2 incidences a couple of weeks ago. We had actually started planning before those incidences occurred, but
Quick, easy one. So it's just mentioned that all the bus bench advertising was unveiled today, right?
yes. So yesterday they started installing them,
Okay.
and today we're officially announcing the program.
And around here, where can you find some of them? Which, is it in all bus stops or?
No, so it's 50 bus stops throughout the city. If you want a specific list, I am able to provide that for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. So if we need to take some
Yeah.
videos or shots, so
Yeah, and
anything around closest, okay.
my contact information is on there, so feel free to reach out to me, and I can provide you with images of the bus benches as well as the location of the bus benches.
Okay, okay, great, yeah.
Anything else? Thank you.
Very good.